Hello and welcome. This is our India in the Margins interview, and we are delighted to welcome Prakash Kumar in Delhi this morning or evening for him. With me here is Kirat Singh. She is an undergraduate in the BSPGA program at Georgetown University, and she is going to lead us this morning. So, Kirat, over to you.
All right, so today we'll be talking about Sajak Society, which is a Delhi-based government approach nonprofit that works for the welfare of underprivileged sections of society, such as children and women from weaker sections, as well as the unorganized labor force, specifically waste pickers. So the society is working for marginalized communities living in different parts of Delhi, with a vision to create a society that is socially just, economically equitable, culturally plural, politically democratic, environmentally sustainable, peaceful, and humane. So we will just start off by asking Prakash. So he leads the organization Sajak Society. So Prakash, what inspired you to set up this organization and lead this organization? And like what got you to where you are now and the work that you're doing now.
First of all, I would like to thank you, Professor Joshi and Ms. Kirat, for giving me this opportunity and to share my thoughts with you and you people. So, since my school days, I was I was staying in a city called Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh. So when I was studying there, so I used to study in a front room in my house where people keeps on roaming and coming and going. So I used to see there some boys and girls having very dirty sacks, actually bags, jute bags or plastic bags on their bag, and they used to collect waste. So that uh, looking at them, so that struck my mind, and I thought of what can compel them to do such a dirty occupation, such a dirty work. So since my school days, I I was thinking, what compels them to take such unclean profession. So when I grew up and I completed my education, I came to Delhi, and I got an opportunity to work with an NGO which is working for the welfare, which is still working for the welfare of these people. And I joined that organization, and there I come in direct touch with these people, and I gain knowledge about their profession, their work, their living, and all that things. And since the last 20 years, since 2001, I am working with these communities in Delhi.
And then like to follow up on that, who are the waste pickers of India, and like how do they end up in that situation?
So the waste pickers are people who mainly are migrant workers, and they are from unorganized section of unorganized workers basically. So they come to the urban cities to get better living opportunities, better job opportunities. But in the lack of proper education, certificates, and capital, they have no other option of employment. So they have to work in rag picking. They start rag picking. So they are very people, very poor people, or they are basically they belongs from lower section of the society, like Muslims, Dalits, and backward classes, so and tribes. So they belong. They are from different social backgrounds.
So you say like they have no education, no options. So why do you think the Indian state hasn't succeeded in reaching these groups and removing those obstacles that they're facing?
So there are lots of obstacles, and earlier the government and police and municipal bodies were very badly tortured and very used to exploit these workers very badly. So we started our organization for welfare of these workers, and we have associated around 5,000 workers with us, and we provide them awareness, education.
They don't treat them well. Why do you think that is? To an American student over here, the big question is, why are they so excluded, right? In a democracy which is supposed to serve the people, why are they so left out? What is the reason for their exclusion?
So India is known for discrimination. Actually, basically, India is a discriminatory society. Earlier, Indian society were divided into four varnas, that is called Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudras. So Sudras were the workers, and they were considered very low. What do we say? Low status of people. So since beginning, when you grow up in India, so it will always there with your unconscious mind. So when a person join government services, so that is there in their mindset. So it is not so easy to remove all those things. So people are divided into different classes. So I think this is my personal opinion. I think that this is the problem that even our constitution gives equal right to every citizen, but uh, after 75 years, there are a large number of people who are still excluded from the government benefits of government programs and all that things. And there are lots of people who are fighting, but still they don't get desired results. And particularly after adoption of new liberalization economic policies in India, these things are becoming very tough day by day. So I think it is not simple for people who is in power to get rid of these type of things. But it is not impossible if people have willpower and they get proper sensitization. So there is a chances that they will become pro such people. But there are many factors. Uh, this is nothing only. This don't only limited only background of the people, but it is also the system in democratic system like India. So there is a parallel system of corruption. So sometimes due to corruption, they uh, exploit such people to get
So,
money.
Prakashji, you're saying something interesting, which is we have a very progressive constitution, right? It gives complete equality to the people of India. We have a very large government that runs hundreds of programs, poverty alleviation programs, social justice programs. I work in villages sometimes where there seems to be no aspect of life where the government has not entered, and yet you're saying that because the social structure is not fair, it's different than the political ideals. When the two come together, right, the government official, he is or she is going to be affected by this unconscious thinking, right? So one question is also about you coming back to waste pickers, rag pickers. What is it about in Indian society, the way we even value work, that it's again related to the caste system, that some works are considered impure, dirty, even though, and we're going to talk about the pandemic, right? Public health literate, academics would tell you that keeping a clean street is the most fundamental aspect of urbanization. But the people who keep the street clean and the act of cleaning the street in India, we don't value. We don't even want to see it. So why is that? Like, why is it such a struggle in India to value the work of keeping a street clean or keeping a city clean, to take that seriously, respect the people who do it, and value them? Is what is it in our thinking that we value, working in a factory or working at a desk more than that act?
So this is mainly due to the social structure and social to what I said, the caste system. So who cleans the street? They are mostly the Dalits. Particularly in Delhi, there is a community called Balmiki community. So most of the sweepers come from that community, and they are very organized also. It is not that they are not organized. They are organized. They are they have a visibility also. They have voices also. But since uh, they are excluded and they are considered low standard people. So it is continuing since earlier time, and it is still happening in India. The other reason is I was listening one ex justice of Supreme Court. So he was responding such a question. So he said that actually in India we have surplus manpower. So we don't actually want to value human. We don't have human value, and particularly for these people who are in the last, uh, we say, the people who is on last stage. So we never consider their contribution. So this is a social problem.
That's very interesting, because when you started your career or this work, you described you were sitting at a desk studying and you were seeing an you know an economic problem. There were people poorer than you. They had a dirty, they didn't have the same opportunities as you. They didn't have that equality of opportunity in India. And yet you're we're now saying that it's the social structure that's holding them back, not. So that's an interesting discovery, I suppose.
So then, like we've talked a lot about, the social structure, the caste system has created so many inequalities in Indian society. So can you talk a little about what you and what Sajik Society do to combat all of this? And like on a day-to-day basis, what kind of work are you doing?
So the main issue is in India, the major section of the workers are fall under the unorganized sector. As the term suggests, unorganized means they are scattered, they are divided. So the primary task of activists like me is to organize them. So we organize them. We we have formed their groups, community-based organizations, and we give them formal membership, and we give them membership cards so that when they go on their work, so they can they show if asked by police or any other people that who are you, what are you doing, why are you roaming here and there, so they can show them that see I am so and so, and I am a waste picker. I am associated with Sajak Society, and I work in these areas. So we organize people. First thing, second thing, organize. They don't get organized very easily. So uh, we have to get in touch with them regularly. We have to provide them proper awareness about benefits of organizations, and we also help them to understand that if they don't get organized, then nobody can listen. So if you have collective voice, then there will be some chances to be heard. Otherwise, no one going to hear you. So our primary task is to organize organize these unorganized people. Second is to provide them regular awareness and education about their rights, entitlements, government schemes, and after that, awareness is not sufficient. So uh, uh, they need more support, more cooperation. Say, for example, uh, all of us know India is the largest democracy of the world, but there are many people in Delhi who cannot exercise their voting rights because uh, they don't have they they are not enrolled in the electoral rolls of Delhi. So if you have not enrolled by the government agencies, so you can't franchise your vote. So you can't take part in the democratic exercise. So you remain excluded. So first thing I told you that we organize the unorganized people. Second, we provide them awareness. Third, we always uh, extend our cooperation to them so that they can get the benefits of the government schemes, and they uh, get easily enrolled with the government system. So in 2014 we uh, we had we had an extensive enrollment drive with, in association with the election department of Delhi, that is called Chief Electoral Office of Delhi. So we held area-wide enrollment camps in the slums of West Speakers, and our people, our volunteers, uh, used to sit there and they fill up their forms. They completed all the formalities and they handed over the forms to the authorities, and that is how they were enrolled in the electoral rolls of Delhi. So they also need the cooperation. And other thing, when you provide that child education is very important, and being a parent, it is very what do we say, very important to get your child enrolled. But the person does not have sufficient confidence, so he can go and he get his child enrolled in the school. And if he somehow he gain some confidence, the authorities, the school teachers, they are not going to entertain them. So people like us have to go there, have to talk with them, and also have to sensitize them that listen, these people are these people are playing very important role for our society, and we must cooperate so that their uh, uh, children can get education and they opt some other occupation also. So we have to cooperate in many ways. So we also cooperate with them, and after besides we also engage with the government to make policies for the betterment of these people. I remember in 2017, 2007, we were a part of a campaign which was demanding uh, enactment of a national legislation, the Social Security Act. So we are a small part of that. There was a very large group demanding such legislation. As a result, the government of India has enacted the Unorganized Workers Social Security Act in 2008. But now in 2020, the government of India has what do we say, bring another law, Social Security Code, and merge that act in that code. So sometimes we also engage with the government for policy making. I want to give another example. In Delhi, the waste pickers' work is not recognized, and they have no work security. Let me share you one important fact that the cleaning it comes under the cleaning job, and sanitation and cleaning is the statutory obligation of the municipal body. So the municipal body has obligation to maintain cleanliness and sanitation of the entire city. The waste management comes under that, but the municipal body does not want to take responsibility of these people. So we are fighting for that, and we are engaging with the government of Delhi to bring a special legislation, and under that legislation, these people will be provided formal employment, so they can get regular earning, and their living standard can be improved. So we also engage with the government. So we work on different issues.
Prakash ji, I have to say this is so inspiring, right? Because when we were talking a few minutes ago, you were saying how broken our social structures are in India, right? The caste system, inequality. We are burdened with our history at some level of how and then we have, colonial rule that was put on us, which was probably not very helpful. But you're also describing, Prakash ji, like you are part of civil society, your organization is part of the social structure, you are not with the government, how there is some underlying dynamism in India that someone like you, who was studying at a desk, who saw a disadvantaged people outside their window, changed their life, worked for their empowerment, right? You help. And what I heard you say a few minutes ago was you understood that they have to be recognized, they have to be politically organized, they have to vote, they have to be heard in the political arena. And you are doing that with a also parallel attempt to change the social structures, to break down those barriers. But I don't know if you realize that you are part of the same social fabric, right? And this is the paradox of India. There is so much good, and in a country where the government is so big, someone like you is willing to be the glue between the marginalized worker and the government and make India better, right? Like I'm hearing in here an amazing story about not just how broken the structure is, but also how resilient it is, because someone like you is also in it. And that's what makes India the amazing place that it is, right? The plurality, the fact that we don't always think the same way, the government, civil society, politics, economics, markets, everybody is doing their own thing. But in the middle is this, in the middle of the chaos is also a lot of hope. So, thank you for everything you're doing and sharing it with us too. But I know Kirat has another question.
Please.
Yeah, so you've talked a lot about like inequalities that you've seen through your work in Indian society. And then in your profile, we read that you have been a member of the Delhi State Coordination Committee on Food during COVID. So we wanted to ask, have you seen these inequalities become worse with COVID? How was like the work that you're doing impacted by COVID? Um, yeah.
So last year, it was unprecedented situation. No one was expecting such situation, but we have to face that. And the most worst hit people are the migrant workers. So actually the government has taken strict measures, and all the economic activities have been suspended. So no offices, no places were functioning, opening. So all the people have confined to their places of living places. So they can't move, they can't get employment, they can't work, they can't get earnings. So we started this work due to our people. Uh, Actually, frankly speaking, personally, I was very, what do we say, I was very frightened, and I was very, what do we say, hesitant to go to people due to the propaganda and reports coming from the media that this is highly contagious disease, the COVID. So I initially I thought that I will not go to the public to save myself and my family. But our people, the waste speakers and other people, uh, I actually uh, I uh, I was receiving lots of calls from our people, and who didn't have any idea about what to do, how to face the situation, and they were not allowed to work. So they don't have any option of earning. So actually, they were thinking that they will die due to starvation. So they approached us to think about this situation and to do something. So I went their villages, their areas, and we held some consultations with them, and we felt that there was a need to do um, relief work on large scale. So we started doing that. So initially, from our network, we mobilized some money and started distributing foods, ration, and all the things. Then after 15 days, I got a call from Delhi government that they are planning to planning to have some committee, and they wanted my contribution to coordinate the relief work of government department. So because they know that the government officers uh, were not take pain to go to the people and to bridge the gaps. So the government has made me a coordinator of Southwest District of Delhi. That is a very big district, and I think lots of people are living there. So I have dual that time I had dual responsibility. One, the responsibility of our own people who are associated with us for so many years, and other people, the migrant workers who are stagnant here and who don't have any option of earning. So I managed to work on both the responsibilities, and we succeed. Actually, in our organization, in such a society, we have uh, so many volunteers, area-wise volunteers. They are very active, and when they get proper instruction, they can perform very proficiently. So managing our people was not a very tough task. The only challenge was to mobilize resources. But the government department, I faced lots of problems because reaching out workers are very simple for us because we are working for them. But the government, we are not, we were not getting a response from the government. So what we have, what I did, that whatever the resources we had, I had to share with the limited resources with those people who were in great need. So our resources uh, were shared with those people also. So we had very little resources, but uh, there were no other options. So that
Prakashji,
has helped us.
do you feel more supported by Delhi government, or the broader national government? Like you're describing, you're trying to do so much good, and yet you have to go through so many obstacles in the bureaucracies of India, right? Like, do you feel that you got that phone call from the Delhi government, when you were doing all this relief work? Did you feel supported by them? Did you feel that, you were both fighting for the same objective? And do you also feel that way about the national government, or do you feel that they are a little bit more of a hindrance for you?
So frankly speaking, I think all the government are same. All have some plus points and some minus points, some positives and some negatives. So positives and negatives are always with both the government. The government of India, who has who has who procures all the what grains for the public, and who issue the grains to the state government. So the government of India had opened their godowns for states, and they had issued lots of food grains to the state government. Actually, government of India uh, cannot implement the all the things
Mm,
on ground. So the government of India, what the government of India did, they provided food grains to the state government for further distribution. So the further distribution to actual people was fall under the state government. So the government,
I see.
uh, Delhi government, still the Delhi government uh, appointed me as a coordinator, but the officials were not very cooperative. But I
Mm,
cannot say for everybody. There are few people who are or who were very supportive and who are very sensitive, but not all of them. So I can say there are negative and positives in all the with all the government. But central government is more aggressive, I can say, and Delhi government is very diplomatic type of government.
Right, right.
So I can say that no one is for people. They have projection. There are some perception built by media and other people, but I know that there are lots of limitations, lots of drawbacks with both the government.
I guess it's fair to say that government is ultimately people, and people are always complicated. And, a government is not a monolithic entity. It has many different people in it who bring, you talked in early on about unconscious biases, unconscious ideas about people. So that's what you're encountering, right? Like even in the middle of a crisis, a well-intentioned government policy ultimately depends on people, and it's you interacting with those people that can make all the difference to the rag pickers and the waste workers of Delhi, right? But I think I can say for both Kirat and myself and all the students who will listen to this interview, we think it's amazing that you are there, that you are doing what you do. Because imagine India, imagine COVID, imagine those lockdowns without you. I mean, I think there would have been starvation. I think there would have been much more death. I think there would have been much more economic impact. So, in some sense, you are one of the reasons why we still have as much as we have right now. So thank you for being you, and thank you for doing all you do. Kira, do you want to wrap us up?
Actually, I am in front of you, but there are lots of people who provide us moral support and sometimes resources also to keep on working for these people. So Prakash cannot do anything at his home. So I think there are also lots of people who are working very good work. In Delhi also there are other groups, and in India many people are working with such marginalized sections. So nowadays the government uh, has taken lots of corrective measures also. In my daughter's curriculum in textbooks, I see that our struggles are also there. So people fighting on different front, like caste discrimination and other things. So all those struggles are included in the curriculum. So I think this is a very positive, very good step because the coming generation will be sensitized. They will be more balanced, and there will be less discrimination, I think, in the future. So I think this is very good measure on part of Government of India, and particularly NCERT, which devised the curriculum. So I am quite hopeful that future will be better. But there is also some disappointment that governments are not taking things and deciding things on the merit of that thing. They always have something different criteria. So if you have merit, so it doesn't mean that you will be heard and your struggle will be what do we say means you can get solutions. It is not easy. It is not always. So this is very disappointing. But still, we are fighting, and we are committed to exercise our constitutional rights, And I'm saying you that in coming month, from 2nd of October, we are planning to have an agitation to demand the enactment of Delhi Mathadi legislation, Delhi Mathadi law, which was already finalized by the government of Delhi, but from different uh, what do we say, excuses, it is not get uh, passed by the Delhi Legislative Assembly. So we are demanding to enact that law also. And apart from that, we are also approaching the Delhi High Court through a PIL to ensure rights, existing rights of our people. So Mr. Prashant Bhushan, who is a famous advocate of India, he is ready to fight our case in Delhi High Court. So we are also going to exercise that option. So there are many fronts we are fighting for the best of our people.
Okay, so I mean, I think we learned a lot today. So I just want to say, you know, we appreciate you speaking with us. I appreciate my Nanu for connecting me with you, and you know, for you like responding to him and being willing to speak with us. Really appreciate that. I, you know, found it really interesting how your work is centering around organizing, you organizing community, organizing labor. That's what I was doing this summer, but in DC. So like working on like affordable housing, making sure people have some kind of income in DC. So like, you know, that type of organizing work I feel like is very global. It's in like communities all around the world. So and then but at the same time it's very removed from the like academic audience. So I feel like doing something like this is very important to bring that organizing work, the grassroots work that you're doing to academic audiences, like what's actually happening on the grounds, because they can, you know, it's very easy to talk about it being very removed from it and like not really knowing what's going on. So I think this is very good. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And if you, is there anything else that, you know, you want to talk about? Anything else? You know, you have this audience right now. Anything else you'd want to say?
So I just want to say that this type of conversation should continue, and this will also this will also encourage us. And we when we have more what we say information, we would like to share with people. And apart from that, this is our shared responsibility to make this earth better place. So I think we have to work to achieve that goal, and we we can do that collectively. So in whatever form, I think this type of initiative should uh, go on further, and definitely will connect in future also. And if you want, then I can also facilitate interviews of my people, my real best speakers also. But like you feel that my English is not good, so they can't even speak such English, such poor English. So language will be barrier. But if you want to talk with them in Hindi, then that will be possible. So we can do that also in future.
So, firstly, Prakash ji, your English was excellent. Secondly, I think the work you do, as Kirat was saying, she was working in DC this summer. The language of representing those who are excluded is so similar in different parts of the world. So I have no doubt that there's a Georgetown student listening to this interview who will want to speak with the rag pickers of Delhi, who will be interested in your agitation in October, and who will get in touch and find ways to serve you, connect you. And please know, we appreciate what you do and what you represent. And it's probably the best hope there is for the world right now. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Namaste. Thank you.